have such sights to show you.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Four Dead Losers podcast. We are three of the Four Dead Losers. I'm Ramiro.
Adam.
Jordan.
And today we're going to be talking about the Backrooms. Ooh, spooky. Jordan, this was your pick, not spoiler thoughts. What did you think of the movie?
This was my pick, I forgot. I'll try to keep it short by my standards.
No, I want you to summarize the entire
So let's start
series.
with I actually haven't seen it still. I thought about binging it, and then I saw that there was like 45 minutes of straight just like found footage, and I thought, yeah, I'm not gonna do this in 2 days. Just a few things I want to point out. One, it had a 20-year-old director, which I think doing this at 20 years old is an accomplishment, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's been a big hit, which is what it is. Again, I didn't really... I wasn't familiar with the YouTube series or anything prior to this. Obviously, basically everybody's heard of, the Backrooms. But, yeah, I know nothing about the lore. So I wasn't necessarily, super hyped about it, I guess. I was kind of just there for the ride. Had it not become as, expected or, hyped up as it was, I probably wouldn't even have seen it. So, I feel like, just keep something short. I feel like the two actors did very well for what was given to them. I feel like at times you can tell it's a 20-year-old who probably, I don't know if he has the sole writing credit on it also, but I feel like at times it feels like a really young movie, which works very, very well in my opinion at certain times, but then in other things I feel like you can tell. Overall, real quick also, it's already been greenlit for a sequel.
Yay. And
the director does want to go anthology route with it, which is probably the best idea. Watching the movie, I felt like, yeah, this is going to be based off the success of it too, this is going to be a franchise that has 1 million movies. It didn't quite break the top, so a movie like Obsession, which we haven't gone over yet, really is the top of my year so far. And I don't think it quite broke that barrier, but I will say that the movie in general is probably right under that. It's in the group, it's in the room with all the other movies that I've seen this year that are probably in contention for being in my top 3. Overall, I really liked it, I really enjoyed it. I think, again, there were certain things that could have been improved on, but overall I thought it was a really good experience. Now, whether or not it was super scary is arguable. I'm sure Adam will have a lot to say about that. But yeah, overall I really liked it. I struggled with the score a little bit. It was one of those movies that I feel like in the moment of watching it, between watching it and actually getting out and thinking about it, my score might have dropped a little bit or had to be reconsidered. But overall, I feel like I'm going to give it the same rating that I've given quite a few movies recently. I'm feeling an 8.5 out of 10.
8.5 out of 10. Wow. Adam, not spoiler thoughts. What did you think of the movie?
I think I was on record saying, again, I think everybody knows I don't like really A24, but I was on the record saying that I thought this was going to be the movie that would be the one that does really well. And I think I was right in that regard, and then at least it's popular. It seems like people have enjoyed it up to this point, and it has a lot of good things going for it. I will say my general thought with A24 has always been they'll do a lot of things really, they'll do certain things really, really well and stick to that, but then they'll lose it somewhere else. I don't feel like this movie necessarily had that issue. I think the biggest thing for me was just me finding more and more that I'm can appreciate what is happening, but I'm not very big fan of liminal horror. I get it. It's I guess if you're experiencing it, okay, but it's not one of those things I can put myself into, it's just kind of it's one of those weird things, which is weird because we're a fan of all horror movies, as if you can be put in a house with 13 ghosts of glass, not saying that per se, but I don't know, I feel coming out of the movie, I thought there was things that they did well. I thought that the overall design of the sets was really good. I thought that the ambience and things that they did, which makes sense, right? This dude is known for the Backrooms, that's his his baby, right? He's the one that kind of put it on the map, if you will. So it made sense that was going to be good. But I will say I was kind of let down by the entity and some of that other stuff. I was like, okay, cool. So there was definitely some like fatigue towards the end for me with the movie, but I mean, I am interested to see where they take it. I think Kane Parsons, the director, has been on record stating that he has a definitive ending. Like, he knows how it's going to end. This is not something he's like figuring out as he goes. Like, he's already written the entire thing. So it's just a matter of, him dropping as many pieces to the story until he's ready to finish it. So it's not like he's going to string people along forever, I don't think. But he also, definitely has an idea of how he wants to end it. And this was his way of like doing it on a larger scale.
Yeah.
But leaving it, I had definitely wanted to sit down and like ingest it. My coworker had asked me, because I went with a bunch of my coworkers, what did you give it? I was like, I kind of need to just sit and digest. And I felt as though I'm trying my best not to compare it to Obsession, because I don't think that's fair. I don't think, you can compare somebody that has been doing more, I would say, mainstream type of, I wouldn't even say, it's not mainstream, but like, I think you were talking about this. The director for Obsession has done more, I think, that has had more viewership than maybe Kane Parsons has, even though Kane Parsons has a large following on YouTube. But I feel like the Obsession director has a little bit more experience than he does, per se. But needless to say, I think I sat down. I think I would honestly give the movie like a 6.5 out of 10. It wasn't bad. I thought it was good. But there was just definitely things that I was like not the biggest fan of, and I thought not that they could have done better, because you're kind of also stuck with your world that you've built. So he's kind of locked himself into certain like rules and things. So I think that's part of it too. So but yeah, that's my score.
Apparently his Backrooms has like a TVA, right? Like from Loki, how they have, like I feel like at the end how they have the people like we'll get to it, but I feel like he's trying to incorporate like you're saying. I feel like it is boxed in a certain area and he's trying to extend it past that a little bit. I will say real quick before you go, I personally didn't have a problem with it, but I think you mentioned this also, that kind of at the end it like fell off. I don't know if that's true. I will say, I think a lot of people had problems with the entity, like the people that maybe weren't satisfied with how the ending was. Also, it takes a really big tonal shift where like we go from following one character most of the time, and then we switch to following like another character right at the end. So, but that's all.
Non-spoiler thoughts for myself. I did enjoy this movie. I thought it was, I thought it was good. I like liminal spaces and that kind of genre of horror, and I didn't know that I liked it until I watched the anthology or whatever Backrooms series on YouTube. And at first I didn't even know what it was. I think Amanda had texted us one time that like some reoccurring dream that she had, that she was convinced that it was like some iteration of the Backrooms, and I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then so she sent me the playlist that had everything, and then I finished in 2 days. So yeah, I binged it. I really like it. It got to the point where on my TikTok it started showing up the fucking videos. If you find yourself in a movie theater and XYZ starts happening, here are the rules. Like that's fine. I really like that kind of stuff. Jordan is correct. After seeing the movie, I did say that the third act, more specifically, probably like the last 10 to 15 minutes, where the movie kind of tapered off for me, but I really liked everything else up to that. And I don't think it's necessarily an issue of them switching the character focus and that tonal shift, because I didn't really mind that.
Yeah.
I think really where my issue came from is I really liked the way that seeing the found footage portion of the movie, or like that, really grainy. I think this movie takes place in the 1990s, but that camera quality and how you can use it to like, I guess, hide certain things that amplify the horror for me.
Yeah.
Like, I wish we would have seen more of that, and I think if we would have gotten more of that, then I would score this higher.
I'm with you. I did really like that, and I think you're right that a lot of the last half, I don't even think it like retouches that kind of found footage stuff.
Right.
Which I did think those sections were done very well. So,
which is his, what you were saying, his bread and butter, right? That's like what most of the YouTube series is that sort of quality. So with that being said, my score for this movie is probably going to be a 7.25 out of 10. If that last 15 minutes was a little bit different, then, I would have a higher score. Or if they did more of the found footage, I would have a higher score. But that's besides the point. This is going to be your spoiler warning. If you haven't seen the Backrooms, I would highly encourage it. But we're going to go ahead and get into spoiler territory in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So the movie basically opens up and we get a date right from the bat, right?
Mm-hmm.
June 19th, 1990. Shout out to our boy Drew. That's his birthday. He wasn't born on that day or that year, but
I was about to say, damn, you're kind of old.
Shout out to our boy Drew. And we have immediately, it starts off with the found footage, right? It's somebody holding the camcorder and they're walking around the back rooms. And they have a duffel bag, or they find a duffel bag, and there's a lot of like heavy breathing, because I think eventually we learn that they're in like a hazmat kind of suit, right? Like they're just like Among Us, but yellow.
True.
And eventually they're walking around and they find like these cables, and they eventually follow it back, and it leads them to like a room that has like a table with a ham radio, all that kind of stuff. And I think he moves a shelf to block the doorway that he came from. And he goes to the radio and he's calling for help, but of course, like there's nobody answering. He says that he saw something in the back rooms, but he's unable to, like, I guess, describe it. There's a noise behind him, and then there's the seagull jump scare, right, where it goes.
I didn't realize there was a seagull at the time.
And it basically takes off. From there, he looks. I think he starts to walk away, right? Because doesn't he hear something? And he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna get out of here." And he looks down the hall where the seagull came from, and he's starting to walk down. And he closes the door behind him, and immediately I think there's like the steering things for like boats and stuff like that. You can see on the walls.
Yeah, we see like no credit check signs and like a bunch of other like some pirate themed stuff.
Some pirate themed stuff. You see some furniture themed stuff.
And I feel like every time something bad is about to happen, the lights off in that specific section. Like always.
They flicker.
Yeah.
And then you can hear the door open from behind him, and you get a quick, like, not even full glimpse of the monster, right? It's just like a quick frame.
All you can tell is that it's big as hell.
Yeah. That is big as heck. And he runs and he makes it to a beach room. And what I mean by that is there's basically wallpaper on the all 4 walls, and it's a beach.
Like you're at Joe's Crab Shack.
I think there's a door in this room, right? And besides the one that he came from, but it's locked.
It's locked. Yeah, I can't get in there. And he's locked. I mean, he has no way out now.
And then that's it. He gets got. And then the footage ends. And when it turns off, basically the camera zooms out so we can see that there's a bunch of scientists watching this CCTV footage. Well, I guess they got to retrieve the actual camcorder and they were watching that. And then we get the title card, the Backrooms. We then cut to a construction site for Crest Ridge Tower, and we get a monologue from who's going to end up being one of our supporting characters at the beginning, turns into our main character at the very end. Mary? Is that her name? Do you remember what her monologue is here? Is this like her motivational speech thing?
I think it's part of it in a sense. I don't remember exactly what she's saying.
I think if I remember correctly, like thinking back now, it had something to do with being alone, right? Like people separating themselves or something.
I think.
Or no, repetitive looping, right? Something like that people that are alone have like a repetitive cycle that they stick to, and I don't know. It's been a couple of days since I watched the movie. It was something along those lines, but it's one of those like higher level, like, oh, we're just kind of giving away what's going to come around full circle type of deals.
Yeah, and then she's there. She's like watching what we assume at this point is like her childhood home. Like we get in the very beginning of the frame, we get a quick like her as a little kid, and then her mom, and then
they're making like the handprint in the concrete.
Yeah.
Or because they're breaking the ground, right? And then we see the handprints. Yeah.
She keeps the little stone that has her thing, which will come up later on in the movie. Then we cut.
Do we know? Sorry. Do we know what they're putting there? Is it just an apartment complex, or is it?
It is Crest Ridge Tower.
It's a building.
Yeah, I don't know if it's an office building.
Okay. It just clicked to me. I want to know if it had anything to do with the people we see later, but it might not.
No, I don't think it does.
Okay.
So while we're getting this monologue being spoken over, we're getting glimpses of basically the area where the movie's going to take place, right? So it's at Captain Clark's Ottoman Empire, all that kind of stuff. We get some glimpses of the inside. And then this is where we cut to, our actual POV or whatever. And we see that it's the therapist, Mary. She's having a conversation with Clark, and it's about being alone, just like you're saying. And they get into like the whole meat and potatoes of their of their therapy session, which includes role play, right? Of the day that he got kicked out of his house. And
I feel like part of this dialogue, which I saw on a video that I was watching today, I think this is part of where you can tell the director / writer is kind of young, because I feel like when I was in the theater watching it, like some of this is very clearly like way over the top and meant to be funny, but I think some of it is just funny because the way it's written, like, it's very, very over the top.
Would you say it's Perkin-esque?
Maybe.
Osperkin-esque?
Maybe.
You know, he was helping this guy?
He was?
Yeah.
Actually?
Yeah, he was
No, I
on
didn't know
set.
that.
Yeah, he was on set and he was mentoring.
I figured he'd been mentored by somebody. I think that's a fair comparison.
He was mentoring Kane through the entire thing, and Oz Perkins is listed as one of the executive directors, but in reality, he was there as like a mentoring thing.
Bro, he ghost directed. No. Yeah, which again, I thought the actors did very well with, and two, I thought it was executed good enough in that, like you were saying, like the YouTube series is completely found footage, basically, as far as I know. So like, this is the first time, like Adam was saying, how you said like the Obsession director had more experience. Like, I'm pretty sure this is the first time this director is having to deal with like dialogue, and I thought it did what it needed to do, but it is very over the top, and a lot of people in the theater were laughing when I was there.
Well, yeah, like it's basically like setting up his backstory. Like this is like the cramming the whole like backstory / motivation / like basically showing you what his character is essentially, which is that he basically works all the time. He has a very bad relationship with his wife, in that he believes that like she does nothing and he does everything, so he gets upset that she's getting upset at him when she feels like she does everything. And that's essentially what the role play is him getting upset at quote unquote his wife because she, you know, is getting mad at him for drinking, yet he's literally like working. He even tells her that like you do nothing if I, you know, like I'm paying for everything, you do nothing if I, you know, want to be able to like enjoy myself, I should be able to, type deal. But essentially, he gets kicked out. I'm assuming like near Christmas, right? Like it was around Christmas time. I think that's towards the end. That's what it makes it seem like. But
I think based on what we see later, I'm assuming. Yeah.
But yeah, no, and then they snap out of it after he's like, I'm sorry for getting angry. And she's like, it's okay, I think we got some good some good stuff there.
I didn't realize Osgood was like monkey and long legs. Yeah, 100%. Knowing that, it makes me view the film a little different, actually. Now some of the things make a little sense.
So then after this therapy session is over, they're like, okay, well, let's meet, you know, X amount of time later. And then we cut to the commercial of the Ottoman Empire. Here it's just everything's on sale, everything has to go.
I forgot we were in the 90s until we got this like old ass quality footage.
And he's like wearing like a fake peg leg, but it's basically like it looks like he just wedged together two like actual chair legs, and so like you can even see his legs still like in the shot. I don't even try to hide it. And then he sits on this like throne, and if you will, and basically he like breaks as soon as he sits on it, and then he's like cut, and it is like it's upset because the chair broke.
This is again one of those purposefully like comical parts.
Yeah.
But I think it also just reflects like where he's at in life. Like everything's going wrong.
Yeah.
He's getting pissed off. Like
very irritable person.
Which before we'll get more into it later. But before I watched the movie, like the only like spoiler-esque or like video I saw about anybody talking about the movie was this guy in like his 50s complaining about like, yeah, and there were pirates on screen. So like basically saying, where the hell did that come from? And like when we hit the scene, I just thought, oh god, what are we doing? Like we saw the pirate stuff in the beginning, and I thought, okay,
Yeah.
And then I'm like, bro, this is.
And then it cuts out of that again footage type quality, and then it cuts to real time him like getting upset, and then he basically tells that we see the two other side characters that aren't
Yes.
around for very long.
I think their names are Kat and Bobby.
Yeah, Kat and Bobby.
They're like the only other characters in the movie, right?
Yeah,
Like
basically,
humans?
yeah.
Well,
So-
both sides.
Oh yeah, and so Kat is a worker there at the store, and then Bobby is, I guess, we don't know about it just yet, but like obviously they know each other. So Bobby's recording on his little camera.
He got a swaggy outfit.
Yeah, and so he basically like there's like, okay, yeah, you know, we'll just leave it at that. And I thought that was pretty good up until that last point.
I thought
And-
they were employees, but
No, just
they're-
Kat's an employee.
Oh, she
But-
does work there.
Yeah,
I was
she does
wondering
work
if they
there.
even paid any.
Yeah, because he's like, I think he even throws out the line. I thought this line was pretty good. He's like, we kind of, I think we need to figure out like what we're actually going for. So is this like a Turkish thing or is this a pirate thing? Because Ottoman Empire and like the captain, whatever, like doesn't make sense. They're like clashing, and he's like, shut up, man, like whatever. But then and then he tells Kat, he's like, yeah, hey, go ahead and open up the doors. And she's like, we've been open for the last hour and nobody has shown up. So basically that already goes to show that, you know, nobody shows up at this store. And I can't remember if it was at this point prior or beforehand or not. Did we get the shot of the window where it says rip off?
It's when he's walking. It's just before this. I think.
Just before this, yeah. It gets a shot of the window and somebody spray painted rip off, which I'm guessing he's either overcharging or, I mean, I have to imagine he's not making any business, so he probably is overcharging to try
Right, because he's still having to pay
salvage.
for like the electricity and all that.
Which
we'll
we
get
find
into.
out pretty soon is
But-
probably part of the problem.
Yeah, it's completely empty. Every shot we ever get of it is just completely.
There's never
empty.
anybody in the
Which,
store.
Yeah.
I mean, think about like all the mainstream furniture stores in the real world. Like I know this is in the '90s, but like, come on, bro, a furniture store that was your best bet. Yeah, R.I.P. man.
So then we cut to an electrician, and he's coming, Clark is in his office doing paperwork or whatever. An electrician comes in, and he says that everything, as far as their lights go, are good. And Clark is saying that the lights just randomly flicker then, and it doesn't matter the time of day, right? They'll just go off and on in both the first floor and the basement
But it's
floor.
never the same area at the same time.
Right.
Which I was wondering how the hell he knew this. We're gonna find out how he knew it.
So then they go to the breaker box in the basement, and when they go down, the breaker box looks normal, but then the electrician's like, what the fuck? And there's two that are just like a couple inches below the main
Completely
grid.
different color.
Red
different
and they're
color.
like offset.
Yeah, and they're offset. So it's not like, they're like a 45 compared to everything else. And so they flip them, and they're like, nothing's happening. And I think the electrician drops the line, right? He's like, what's weird is that we don't know what these power or like.
Well, no, he's saying there's nothing that can be there. He's like, the way that the box, because he's thinking about, I mean, because he's an electrician, the box is laid out a specific way. So he's like, where these are placed, there can't be anything there. So he's like, the fact that it's there, he's like, whoever did this is probably just trying to mess with you, or thought they were playing a funny joke. But it's like there physically cannot be anything.
And even
there.
Clark mentions like that he can't recall seeing them there the first time he looked at the breaker box.
Right. That they had just appeared. And so then we cut to that night, and Mary is sitting in her house, and she's watching basically the infomercial for her book, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is all about, it's a self-help book, basically, is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
We then cut to, and it's titled, the name of the book is The Window Within, which I think may or may not be like relevant to what the Backrooms are, right? Because you're like looking at things that don't make sense, and like when I think of Window Within, I understand that they're talking about, oh, you have to look inside of yourself, but like I think of like if this wall connects to the next room over, but I think of like if there was just a window on that wall, like there would be, why would it be there? Kind of.
I think part of it is more of a nod to, and we'll get to it later towards the third act, but like what I think the true theme of the movie is, and what I think a lot of people were taking out of the movie from the fans that always have a bazillion theories, even though half of them are never true. But like they're like, I think everybody's kind of come to a similar general consensus of what like the theme of the movie was. And I think that's part of it, what we find out in the third act.
Yeah. So then we cut to Clark, and this is what Jordan was saying, is that he's sleeping at the store. He has the whole setup, right? He's in one of the beds. He has the TV.
At least somebody's using the furniture. You got a little lamp, bro.
Yeah,
this was back in the day. You got the big ass TV.
And the TV turns off by itself, and it won't turn back on. Cut to all of the lights flickering on and off.
And the lights downstairs are on because he looks down there and you can see the lights up.
Yeah.
Is this when he's watching the TV? Is it this moment that we see like the commercial he was trying to rip off, or that later on?
Yes, that was this time too. Yes,
I'm
it
pretty
was
sure
the
it's a
other
furniture
furniture
store.
store. Yeah,
Another-
and it's the one that's like doing well, and he's just like,
Yeah.
it's like Billy Bob.
This guy's
cowboy.
like this. He got like a whole fucking, like a whole, what do you call that? Like a whole stage setup.
Yeah.
Like, everything looks all good.
So then he goes for a drive, and he's listening to basically the tape that goes along with Mary's book, which is supposed to be inspirational, but I don't think it is.
I don't think it is, and I think, well, I mean, we see his character break down as the movie progresses. I think it's just like,
Yeah. So then we cut to Mary. She's at like some kind of party, and she's really going through it, right? Like things aren't really agreeing with her. Eventually, I think she just ends up leaving, right, or something like that.
I think she
No,
does.
she like goes upstairs and she goes into her medicine cabinet and takes some pills.
something. We don't know what.
It's pills. I mean, yeah.
It's
So
in like a Ziploc bag. Like, it's not like-
So I think this is where it shows like, and they're doing I think part of the monologue again too of like her self-help book or whatever, and so I think this is his way of showing like even her, the person that's supposed to have it all figured out, is not like physically okay either. Like she has things she's going through. And I think during this time too we have the first set of flashbacks, right, of her, or second set where
Yes,
she's
yes.
at her house and
Her childhood
house, and it's just her with her mom, or just her trying to look outside, right? Is that about it?
Yeah, because all of the windows have newspaper all
It's
over.
like the house and weapons.
Yeah.
Where it's like just completely.
Mm-hmm,
And like the door is completely blocked with.
Oh wait, hold on,
furniture.
time out. Do we not? This may have to be cut out. Before this party, did he not go into the back rooms the first time?
No.
No. Okay. just
No,
wanna
he
make
does
sure.
not.
Okay, because I
Yeah.
thought they bring up the whole you can't go out there.
He's about to right now.
No. Her mind in one of the flashbacks, it's the mom freaking out on her about they're everywhere.
Yes, I do think that this happens in this scene.
Is it?
I think
this
it
one?
happens prior.
I thought it happens after because
Oh,
there would be
maybe.
no correlation to the back rooms until he goes to the back rooms. That's what I remember thinking in my head is that, her mom went to the back room.
That's what I assumed. I think by the time he goes and tells her, like, it explained to her about this place, we've already heard her part. Like, that way we can piece it together.
Or is it she goes to the outside and they do the crane. I think it's the crane. Maybe it's the crane. It's a jump scare.
I thought it was the same scene.
I think it is the same scene.
Is that the same scene?
It's up to you.
Yeah, because I can't find it in my notes about that.
Like, I thought that there's people out there and the crane happened in the same scene.
Yeah, but then there's a scene part of that where the mom gets her away from the window and freaks out on her.
That's what I'm saying. I thought that was all in the same.
I don't think so because she wouldn't have gone to the door. I think she went to the door by herself.
Maybe that's
I
later
thought-
on. I think maybe the crane happens later. I don't know. It's up to y'all how y'all want
I don't remember.
I think the crane happens later, but
Okay.
right now I'm pretty sure what happens is that she goes to the window to like try to sneak
and the
out,
mom freaks out on her.
or not sneak out, but sneak a peek outside, and then mom
Okay.
is like, "No, don't do that! What are you doing?"
like freaks out, like comes out of nowhere and like stops her.
Okay. Yeah, I think part of that, and I think that is a dead giveaway that the mom had potentially seen it, but then that throws off Kane Parsons' timeline, right? Because isn't it like most of everything that's happening is like the very late 80s, early 90s, and she was like 8 when this happened.
Well, I mean that doesn't necessarily mean that she couldn't have experienced it as well.
Just prior to them knowing.
So I thought it
Prior
was-
to-
Because I mean, like the whole thing with the back rooms, or one of the things about it is that we don't know the start or like whatever. So
I know Russia did something too prior. So, okay, maybe, yeah. I guess it could fit the time. I'm going to throw this out there. I don't know all the lore. I know just a general summary because before I watched the movie weeks ago, I did different summaries that showed the main parts of each video. But I do know in the timeline, the main one that we get introduced to is all in the late 80s, early 90s because there's 91, 92 is a big year area. And then, but then supposedly the quote unquote, I guess there's a not a big bad, but somebody that we don't really know much of that's potentially leading async or has a lot of pull in async also did experiments in Russia prior to that. So I think maybe that might be where I don't know. I could be speaking a whole lot of nonsense. I don't remember, but my assumption, I think all of ours was that the mom freaking out on her trying to look out the window because I forget the exact verbiage she used or line, but something along the lines of they could be anywhere.
Yeah.
So I think the mom experienced the back rooms because you also noticed the house went from being open and normal to barricaded and lots of stuff blocking entryways, doorways, window ways, so that nothing could basically get in and it was very difficult to get out.
Right. So then we cut to that night, and we are with Clark, and he's watching TV again, and it cuts to footage of the back rooms, right? It's it picks up a signal from a camera, and in this footage, it's of a room, and then there's something standing in the doorway that we don't really. We'll find out in a little bit what it is. So then the lights in the basement start to flicker, and he's able to see it. So then he goes down to the basement. He goes to the breaker box. And he turns off all of the normal ones, but nothing happens. The lights are still on. But then he turns off the two weird ones, and then the lights all turn off. So then he walks away, and as he's walking back upstairs, he can see that there's this slight, centimeter thick sliver in the wall that there's light coming through, probably millimeter thick, honestly, where there's light coming through. He goes over to it.
The closer he gets to it, it kind of disappears into the...
Yeah. So then he goes up to it and he enters the back room. There is a pile of furniture in the middle of this room.
They were stealing from his store the whole time.
He's testing the wall to make sure he can come back and forth in between. I think he does it 2 or 3 times, right? Just to make sure everything's fine. And then he goes back into the back rooms. In the pile of furniture, there are 2 chairs, and he picks them up and he tries to take them apart, but they're not.
They're together.
Yeah,
they're AI generated.
He then walks deeper. It's really hard to describe, I guess, the setup of this place, but just think of the back rooms, really. If you're watching this, we'll go ahead and put up I guess different pictures of things that you could expect.
I thought the set was built really well.
Well, that was the thing. I'm curious, how much of it was actual set and how much of it was that program that dude uses?
From what I understand, they had a whole warehouse that they built the whole set in.
So I'm sure some of it I'm sure is fabricated to an extent, but as far as I know, a lot of it was physically.
Yeah, and I can't remember the exact square footage, but it's an enormous fucking
warehouse,
where that they built the entire thing in, and they filled it up with all these weird things.
That was a whole $10 million budget.
Yeah,
it's 30,000 built a massive 30,000 square foot set.
Yeah, and while we the audience don't see the entire thing, it just kind of goes into the lore, I guess, about how we don't see everything, but all of this is there. I was watching an interview that the cast, or the 2 main characters and Kane had did with Dead Meat, and they were saying that even the film crew got lost in the fucking set. I was oh.
It was very well done. But we see things being half in the walls. There's a stop sign that's backwards. Just shit that doesn't make sense. I know Adam said it didn't really hit for him, but stuff like this kind of spooks me. It just makes me feel uncomfortable when they're walking through it. There's music playing, and Amanda did mention she wonders if maybe it would have been better if it was just the buzzing of the lights or silence.
They do that sometimes, but you have to remember in his videos, it's like a mixture. There's like that like lo-fi, or not lo-fi, whatever type of music. And he's also, I don't know if you know this, he also composes the music, and he actually does music like frequently. Like supposedly, I don't know how true this is, I'm assuming it is, but he has like another handle that he does, and it has like on Spotify or some music, SoundCloud maybe, but like he literally swore, he's like, I literally write a track of music one every day just for fun. And it's like, what? I was like, that's like the equivalent of, what was it? I'm pretty sure like Kanye at one point was like, oh yeah, I write like seven things every day. And then I think Aziza Ansari was like, 7 every day. And he like starts adding the math. He's like, you're telling me you have.
Right.
And so I was like, but even like the interviewer, I forgot what interviewer was like, but like that's insane. Like, so within your day you find time to do the, he's like, yeah. So I don't know, whatever program he does, he has like a system of, so yeah, I think part of it he had to plug in his music too, you know.
I didn't know that, but I personally think it's really well executed. It's like it gives like Backrooms music, like it's very like dreary and unsettling, like
that's his, I mean, that's literally, I think that's his thing. So that's what I was saying, he's already conditioned people that are fans of this to that, so it like doesn't, I think that like is what is expected. And then you do get some quiet moments, because there are moments where you do only hear the iridescent lights, but I will say, the music kind of has to happen, or else I'm sure people would have rioted.
He eventually keeps walking and finds the dead seagull. I'm assuming it's the one from earlier.
Like the broke neck, like
yeah, like if it hit a wall or something.
Pretty sure it did hit a wall. It probably, I don't even think it's the same seagull. I think it was like a different seagull, and it no-clipped right to where that wall was. And just
fucking nosedived into it.
Yeah.
He explores a little bit more, and he starts to hear a voice, and it's talking in different languages. He walks towards it, and it's a cardboard cutout of a caveman, which I think
it's a callback to one of the older ones, right? But I don't think in his one of his videos it didn't talk, right? It was just on the floor. I think
it's
which are these like meant to be traps for the monsters or for people? Because it's saying a bunch of things in a bunch of different languages.
I don't think they're supposed to be traps. I think what they're supposed to, so basically the room that this cardboard cutout is outside of is the one that the camera's recording.
Right.
So I don't think that's there to be a trap. I think it's there to lure the monsters so that way they can get footage.
So not necessarily like actual people.
Right.
Like it's meant to be
monster entity.
Yeah. Because as far as like, what's the name of the company again?
Async.
As far as Async, I mean, we'll get into this later on, but as far as Async knows, there's no regular people in there, right? It's just the
entities.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know.
Which is interesting, because at this point too, the only footage that they may or may not have seen was those mold one from episode 1, right? Was that the first time we saw it? The one where he no clips back into the sky and like,
oh, I think so.
Yeah, and that was like a squiggly lined one, and then there was like the mold monster, which is I think a little bit bigger. But I think they only ever shown 2 like entities, and so they are aware that something is there that is hurting people. They just don't know what they are, and I think this is their way of like getting it to like at least show up on the camera, like you're saying, to maybe get some footage, and I guess we might find later potentially capture it.
Because this is when we see like the cardboard cutout has like the cords running from it to like
a different room,
like
but it's blocked off.
A door, with like no knob, it's just blocked off. What else was I gonna say? Maybe that's it.
Okay. He then in that room sees like a tag on the floor, and he opens a little panel on the wall. There's a duffel bag that has a bunch of tapes and a bunch of floppy disks.
Which I'm pretty sure this is, I don't know.
You were talking about the original videos bag, talking about the first opening
I've
scene?
never seen, right.
The opening scene.
We see the guy's ID, but then I'm wondering, why did they leave that there? Like,
because
unless they're too scared to go back in?
Yeah, I think it was mainly because I guess
because somebody had to have set up the cardboard thing.
So either my theory is one of two. Either that personal guy left it there, because that isn't the guy that ends up interrogating homie,
right,
because the guy's too young. But I also think it could have been Async just leaving behind evidence because they can't bring it into the back with them, because that would be bad for them.
That makes sense, because it's like a bunch of footage in one place, which obviously that guy wouldn't have had with him.
Right.
Or they recovered some of it. Also, is this when we cut to the guy from Async, like watching the live cam footage?
I don't think so.
Yes, because
He sees Clark in the room.
He sees Clark in the room, and then he's like, "What the?"
Right.
He's like, what the heck? Do we get the face of this guy yet?
I think we see his face watching it. I feel like we get his face.
Yeah, we get his face, or we get somebody watching it.
Do you know who he is?
Amanda knew instantly who it was. And I was like, wait, for real?
Who is it?
He's Mark Daplis. Have you ever seen Creep? No?
I've seen he is the creep, bro.
He is the creep.
I thought, bro, he's that frightmare. I could have met this guy.
Yeah, I met him.
I loved you in Backrooms.
So I met him at Frightmare last year.
Yeah.
Quick story. I basically went up to him and I was like, hey, so when Joyce and I didn't say Joyce, I said my wife. When I first started dating, I was trying to get her into like horror a little bit, and I got her to watch Creep, and after his performance, she was like, no, I'm never watching a horror movie again.
I think Creep's very good. It also has like a 100 on Rotten Tomatoes.
They on Shudder they have the Creep tapes.
The Creep.
If you watch the first, yeah, they're good. If you watch the first Creep, then you can get a hint about what the Creep tapes are, and then the Shudder anthology series is all of them.
Yeah.
I haven't seen season 2 yet, but season 1 was good.
Damn, I need to watch it.
Yeah. Anyways, so then he takes the panel off the wall, and it leads to like this crawl space. He goes through the crawl space, and from behind him, you can hear banging, and like the cardboard cutout basically explodes all over the floor. He's freaked out, goes in, and
we see the throne.
Yeah, we
the
see
like
the throne.
oversized throne. We see. I don't know if I'm assuming they were wearing them in the first scene also, but like we see the shoes and the flip flops from the two people that were filming like the original commercial. So it's basically like the commercial being reset up.
Yeah. And then
the room
there's
is built in an odd way. Like,
yeah, like if I misremembered. And then the corner of the room is basically this ramp that leads into this little door.
It's like I thought this one was one of those. How is it set? Which is again another Backrooms liminal thing. Was it sets up one of those like weird perspective settings because he sees a door. I mean, and you can kind of tell pretty quickly, but like maybe if you were in the room like at a different angle, it might not look like it, but it looks like the sting like basically goes up this rampway and narrows down to like a door that's like the size of like somebody's like waist.
It is
like,
very optical illusion-y when it first goes in there.
And it has 3 doorknobs.
I'm pretty sure only one works too.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if I'm assuming people like have caught on by now. Which we should have known is under a store because earlier on, like all the signs we saw in the first found footage scene, like the no credit check and all that stuff, is in the furniture store. Which I'm pretty sure I feel like we see more of it throughout.
Yeah, we
this
see
whole
some more of
journey.
it.
And so he basically goes through the little door, keeps running, right? He hears this monster coming, and so he doesn't want to be caught up in all of that mess. He runs and he goes back into the room.
Well, because when he's in when he's in that little tunnel or whatever where he found the bag, he sees like he hears it, sees the shadow, and then sees him like destroy the cardboard like thing, like and like throws it, and he like freaks out. Because he kind of sees it like getting closer to that hole, right? And just
I think so. I think like from our perspective, we just see a black mass.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming there's multiple, like you're mentioning, I'm assuming there's multiple, like, entities down there?
Yeah.
Is it just that we find out, like, we see more later, like, more living creatures in the back rooms?
Yes.
Is it just that these entities happen to be violent? Like, what makes them
okay, so this is where...
I don't know
we'll get into it into the third act. I think this is, and again, I could be wrong because I've only seen summaries. I think this is where he's introduced new concepts. And that's one of the newer concepts. Because again, from the quote-unquote entities that you have seen, I think, in the original ones, they were very far, few and in between. Like, that was never the central basis. It was always about the actual rooms and environment itself. And they would play the smallest of roles. And even then, what you're seeing getting added in this movie is nothing, I think, because you've seen them, nothing that we've seen up to this point. Like, because I think at best you see 2 kind of squiggly looking monsters, maybe one of which doesn't even actually kill them. It like knocks them back into reality, right? Or no, one of them does die in the green room, which we do see some areas that are red lit and green lit. I was like, oh no! But then I think the other thing to think about is like where you're saying if they're violent, it's weird because there's other time where you've seen the entity, was not seeing it itself, but seeing potentially its aftermath, because there was something along the lines of like they thought it was spore like kind of like, what's the word? It's like bacteria, fungi.
Oh,
because it was like on a skeleton in one of the videos. So people were. I mean, it's basically all speculation. I think this movie basically drops lore into like, all right, here's your next set of it. Like what I think everybody perceived up to this point was incorrect.
Right.
Like, you know, in a sense.
Which I'm assuming some people probably disliked. But I guess what I'm saying is, can we set the
precedence that they're all? Well, I would say.
Can we set the precedence that there are more of creatures like this large entity in order for the series to continue?
Yes, there's more than that. But they also show in this movie later on that they potentially aren't all like evil.
They're not all right.
Yeah.
Also, this is one of the first moments that we get like. It's one of the trippier moments in that when he goes through the little asshole, he like comes out behind the stop sign he saw earlier, so we know he did kind of like a circle.
And then I forgot to mention this too, but when we see the scientists watching the CCTV footage of Clark, there's a date and it's June 29th, 1990. So it does not take place during Christmas.
June. Do you remember when the first clip was?
June 19th.
And this is what day?
No, I'm not saying
10 days later.
So I didn't. In my mind, I don't know why like the first guy like footage we saw in the beginning happened like a long time before now. Like this is all very like they haven't really figured out what they're like what's going on yet.
Yeah.
Adam's thinking something.
I know the video we saw at the beginning takes place in 90. I thought, does the movie not take place in 94?
No, I think the movie takes place in 90.
When we cut to the creep scientists watching the CCTV footage, the date is 1990.
But, like I said, I think part of the backroom lore too, no, I'm talking about like the movie itself. Like, because we may be seeing that he sees it in the 90s, but like, I could have sworn somewhere in the movie, like in the normal setting outside of that one clip, it was 94. Like, I have like a vivid memory 93, 94 in my head. Because I think, and the other thing of note, because I think you said you haven't really seen it, was that there has been proven that the Backrooms does not follow a timeline, because there's a guy that lives in there for like what seems like only 15-20 minutes, but like, or maybe like an hour or two, but he was gone for like 3 or 4 years. Like he like ends up coming back.
I know what you're talking about.
So that's what I was saying. I wonder, you don't think it was him seeing this was years later or years before?
I don't think. I think that timeline might be incorrect. I know which ones you're talking about.
Okay.
But I thought it was a few months.
Okay.
I don't think it was years.
I thought it was years. I thought it was like 92. Okay. Anyways, continue.
Yeah. So then we cut. He leaves the back rooms. Then we cut to another therapy appointment, and Clark is basically telling Mary that he found the back rooms, and he drops the line, which is going to be like the through line through the entire series, right, about what this back rooms is. That it's like describing a dog to someone who's never seen one and asking them to draw one. That from far away, you can definitely tell that it's a dog, but when you come up close to look at the drawing, some details are wrong.
Spooky. Yeah. And this is the first time we get like a larger time jump in that we see he's like completely mapped out the parts he's explored, so we get the idea like, okay, he's back.
He's an architect as well. He's
a failed architect.
He makes a big deal out of it.
Yeah.
I am an architect.
I am an architect, damn it. That appointment basically ends with Mary being like, sure, buddy, yeah, that's cool. And he's like, I'm gonna go find proof, and then...
Which he even mentions, like,
leaves.
I'm assuming I don't know if we've seen flashbacks of her mom yet, being in, like...
We have. It's a discussion we had earlier.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, is this the point?
I don't know if we've seen flashbacks of her mom being in a mental health facility yet.
I don't think so.
Because Clark even mentions like some kind of code.
Oh yeah, he's like, have you ever 50-51 somebody?
Right.
Which is like only if they're
51-50.
51-50.
If they're like a danger to other people.
Yeah.
And in the moment she kind of like, plays Clark off, but when he leaves, I feel like this is one of the moments that made me think like, okay, her mom had to have been to the back rooms or something, because you can tell she's really like, kind of like shocked and reflecting on what he said.
Yeah, that she's putting two pieces together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I've been there.
So then Clark goes to his to Kat and Bobby's place, basically asks for their help to gather proof. He takes them to the Ottoman Empire, and then he taped off the portal to the back rooms, and then they basically start filming, and they enter the back rooms.
Can we also throw out there that it was very odd that, not very odd, but like that there was a point in time where it was seemed like okay for psychologists to house their office in their own homes and like have these patients come in there. That's crazy.
Was that in her home?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't realize.
Yes, that's crazy.
Funny, I had little accordion doors.
It's still
that's
it's still a
90s.
thing, I think, because in I'm pretty sure it's the Boogeyman with Sophie Thatcher.
I know,
the
but
dad
like
is
that's
a therapist,
crazy.
and his office is in their house.
That's crazy.
So it seems like a-
And in Scream 6,
who else is like? It's
Scream
like
5.
that's like, hey, let's have
One of those.
let's have like the doctor's office in my house. Like, I'm a doctor, it's cool.
Bro,
Like,
they do doctors on Zoom now. What do you guys It is wild though, especially for the 90s. Yeah, that has to be a conflict of interest or something. Like,
I just
not a
think that was-
professional relationship.
That is crazy, and like all of your records are in your house. Like, what happens if your house like burns? Like, what? Like, I don't know. That's crazy.
So then they start filming. At first, they are like, "No, what the fuck, you're weirdo," kind of thing. But then he enters the portal, and then they freak out, right?
Yeah, they're like,
and it's that whole thing.
well, no, and then the dude was like, "Oh, how'd you do that, man?"
Yeah.
And he like goes in, and she's like, "Ah."
The girl does not want to do it. No.
One other important thing that I forgot to mention is that in the basement, Clark has like a whiteboard, like a Pepe Silvia whiteboard that has the map that he drew.
Which I didn't realize this till now. Maybe you did, but somebody pointed out like you do realize what Pepe Silvia was, right? The whole time. No. It's Pennsylvania. It's because he couldn't read Pennsylvania. I never put two and two together. And
What?
You don't watch It's Always Sunny, dude.
No.
the gag is that he can't read.
He's illiterate.
And so he kept on, like, he had this whole thing as a...
Who, Danny DeVito or what?
No, Charlie Day.
Oh.
That he was a mailroom person, and so he was freaking out because his whole thing of, like, he tried to give mail to Pepe Silvia at the office, but there was no Pepe Silvia, but it's because all of them are from Pennsylvania because they're from Philadelphia.
That's terrible.
So I never, and somebody finally did, I was like, oh, that makes so much sense.
That's terrible.
That's so bad.
Yeah, he has the whole whiteboard. His table is like full of shit. Like he has the whole setup down there.
Yeah, and I think he points out like different rooms, and then he points out like I'm sure somebody somewhere on Reddit already has like they took a screenshot and like, okay, here are all the things that it says, because somebody already screenshot the later scenes where they have the painted mural.
I'm sure there's a bunch of lore. Also, I don't know if it's this moment that we see like he's taking like multiple stop signs out of there and
Yeah,
like, a bunch of
he's-
furniture.
He's taken out, yeah.
Like eventually it hits the point where the opening room is just empty later on in the movie. But yeah.
So then they go in. One very important thing that he remembers to grab is a duffel bag with rope.
Yes.
But then they all go back in. He's showing them, the whole back rooms kind of thing.
It's also important to note, if you don't know anything about the back rooms, they also in this portion not clarify, but kind of show the extent of like the quote unquote like connection to the real world and the back rooms, or rather them kind of interconnecting, because he can talk through the wall to them and vice versa. So there's like this, obviously this invisible like barrier that they can walk through, but they can still hear each other on either side, which I think was also important because in previous iterations of the YouTube short, there was one or two where not only you'd hear noises and people talking, but there was one in particular I remember where this dude goes into, it's like one of the first times they introduced houses, like a neighborhood,
yeah.
And he goes into a house and some dude is like going off on him and like, you can't be here, and then he's like, wait, where are you, like blah blah blah. So like there is showing that like earlier iterations of his world, that was what it was. It wasn't the people in there going crazy. It legitimately, like, they were near a portal,
And
but like they're hearing sounds from the real world. There were people that were there, and the seagull note clipping, you would hear the ocean, you'd hear I think the ship bells, right? The ding, ding, ding. So this movie, I think, further like dropped that lore in there of like, this is how it works. Like where the walls are, where the entrances are, you're gonna hear those things crossing over, like those sounds and things, which is kind of cool.
I think what else to add to your point, like the veil's getting thinner, right? And we witness that from the very beginning, from when he finds the portal, right? Because nowhere else, I don't think, nowhere else have we been able to see through, right? But him getting that little millimeter of light
basically give him the entryway, other than the giant rip in the asyncs,
right?
But they have like a super collider as always. Always some super.
And this guy just had to fall through a wall. So we'll get further like into it later. Can entities cross back the same way he can cross back?
I don't think
they know, but then obviously the third act kind of shifts that a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know if we've gotten that far.
I don't think
can they by their own accord, I guess.
I don't think they know where the entry points are at. Like but you know, obviously if you're in there, you don't know anything. So.
I guess I'm wondering what the purpose. I haven't seen the YouTube clips. I don't know if they go over it. The purpose of async trying to capture these. Are they just trying to get a better understanding of it?
I guess without going just to summarize it, to keep it short, async is trying to find a way. Like it was more about discovery at first, but then it got corporate government greed. They're trying to monopolize it, and they're trying to use it. No, I gave
for like housing crisis.
They're like housing crisis. Like they basically are using it as it's an infinite space. So they're
just trying to get the monsters out to get them out.
They're just trying to learn about it to do things with it, and like in the YouTube shorts, without giving away again too much and shortening it. The idea is like they are learning as much as they can, but also trying not to give away too much because the government will stop funding them if they find out that all these things have happened. Like they cover up an async worker going missing and then returning and then going missing again, and he maybe escaped and maybe didn't. I don't know. It's a whole thing.
Okay.
So basically, it's a whole hubbub.
So they're hiding secrets from the public and from the government.
Well, the public doesn't know. It's just the government.
Right. Like
the goal is to keep all these things secret so that they can monetize off of this, corporate greed, scientific greed. Obviously the corporations are evil, scientists are evil, everything's evil, super colliders are evil.
Not necessarily because they have the same subject matter, but they have the same theme. Think of Jurassic Park. Right? Where at first it was like, oh yeah, this could be for the public,
but then
it's how do we make money off of it?
And then it becomes greed, and of course the async is the bad because they
async like NSYNC.
NSYNC,
they're bad too.
It's like
they're bad too.
But that's essentially the whole summarize of everything. Is you just are slowly.
That's all. I was just wondering what their purpose was. That makes sense to me.
They're the ones that opened the original door, and they're the ones that are trying to profit.
They think they opened the original door.
I think the Russians did, but I don't know.
So then they continue exploring the back rooms. They end up at this one location where it's like a ramp that goes down, right? And
it's like a laundry chute.
Yeah, there we go. It's like a laundry chute, and they tie the rope to this bed frame.
To the bed frame, yeah.
That's right.
I think it's his bed. The one that's I think the one that's in the thing has like the metal rails, right? I think it's the bed from that he was laying in the beginning.
I don't realize. Do you think he's been sleeping down there?
No. I think that like the copy.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, he went crazy already.
So they tie the rope to the bed frame and they send Bobby down the chute.
What's the girl's name?
I think it's Kat.
She's begging him not to go, and he's like,
it's pretty deep.
He mentions it's not even that steep. I can walk down without a rope, and then he starts walking.
No.
Then let go of the rope for a second, and he starts plummeting.
At the bottom of this laundry chute, it's like a locker room,
and it's a bunch of laundry.
It's a bunch of laundry that's everywhere. The cardboard cutouts all destroyed.
Which we see one of his shirts from.
He sees his what was it? It's apartheid
and apartheid
and apartheid shirt. Yes.
Yeah. And there's two, I guess, side rooms with this main area. And one of them is
a door that's sideways.
Yes, a door that's horizontal on the wall. And so one of them It's just a bunch of pile of clothes. He goes to look in the other one, and then we see the movement. Ooh, something moves. Runs, tries to go up.
He also runs out.
Lights
Hasn't he
flicker.
pulled the rope all the way? Like, because he tries to look around the other corner.
I think so.
And like he can't go anymore. It's super fucking dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he says, "Yeah, give me some more rope," and he's like, "There's no more rope," and that's it. And then he sees the monster, runs up the steep ramp. He eventually gets all the way up there. They're pulling it. They're helping him.
Which the second he gets up there, Amanda even told me like, "Bro, the rope is still hanging. Like it's still going down."
Yeah. So basically, that's the idea: is that the rope is so like because he fully extended it. The half of the rope is extending down, right? Because he has most of it. Because he carried some of it, but not all of it. And then the entity basically grabs the rope, pulls him down.
Which we see, like, he put the camera down on the bed.
Yeah, and Clark is trying to undo the knot. He's even like, "What kind of knot is this?" And he's like, it's a knot. Like, I don't know. And then when he started pulling, I low-key in my brain was like, "Bro, just take off your shorts." Like, I would have, like, just chonies, like, chonies and run away.
Which eventually, he gets pulled down.
He gets pulled down.
I don't know why I thought that would be the
end. They're all trying to save him, and then classic, like, movie show. Oh, they all fall down with it.
Because then the bed gets pulled.
Yeah, the bed, and the bed pushes them all down. That thing. Which that was the other thing. I'm surprised all of them were able to fall down because that was so narrow, and I imagine Kat and Clark were going at the same time. So I have to imagine it's one of those like one of them easily could have like.
They could have ducked on the wall.
Yeah.
Jumped on the
Or like they can't both realistically roll down that thing without stopping themselves.
It's a backroom and that thing's really. And then the camera just happens to go down with them at the perfect. Like it lands in the perfect.
Yeah, and they're like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah.
And then they see it's him getting upright, and you just see blood drawn, and you see him like, "Help me!" And then the door closes.
Dragged,
and then I think Kat goes into the door too, right?
Which, did we see the entity? I feel like we saw like a shadow of the entity.
We saw like a shadow, because it was like messing with something in that side room. Or like that catty corner area that was like a side room.
Then Kat also goes and follows, and then there's screams behind the door.
Well, yeah, she chases to like, "I'm gonna help you."
Yeah,
because
they're dating, right? Kat and Bobby. So then there's screams. Clark runs. All that kind of stuff. He's banging behind them. There's heavy footsteps. All that kind of garbage. He makes it into a dark room that has the Christmas tree.
Mm-hmm.
Ding, 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 ding. And he. This room is massive, right?
Very large.
And there's only a Christmas tree that's lit up in the middle of it.
And what
Everything else
song's
is dark.
playing? Is a song playing? Is it like it's a Christmas song?
Yeah, I don't know which one it is.
Deck the Halls or Jingle Bells.
It's one of those.
Yeah.
It's like a memorable Christmas song.
Mm-hmm. When he goes on the other side of the Christmas tree, and there's like somebody in a wheelchair, right? That's like there, and he goes like, "Oh, you have to help me," and then they click off the lamp. And we don't get a full visual of the person here. I mean, we technically do, but because the camera is so grainy, we don't really get to see.
Oh, he does have. I forgot he had the camera. Like we're in found footage.
Yeah, we're in found footage mode right now. But then we see this other figure basically like run up to him. That freaked me the fuck out. I was like, "Where the fuck did
I'm pretty sure he says something. I'm pretty sure he says like hell no or something
like that. Yeah, and
it literally comes from nowhere. Yeah, and he books it.
He books it. He ends up in this pool room where you can hear Kat's voice.
Which supposedly people were like all happy about that.
Oh, is it?
It's like
because I think the reason why. Is because it's the other one that shows up in the YouTube series, the one that like it's not Siren Head, but
it's like a water area, like the running water area.
Which I thought this is like the portion where we get a lot of like just seeing how the back rooms are set up and seeing a lot of the architecture. Well,
he puts the camera down on like this table while he goes to investigate, try to help Kat. He can't find her or whatever at the doorway. She's saying that she can see him and that there's a monster behind him. We see the monster we don't see the monster pick up the camera. We see the camera angle, lift, and assume that it's the monster picking it up. And then Clark screams, and then boom, fade to black.
The end. Oh.
Yeah, the movie ends. This is where we cut to a flashback. Oh, actually, this is where we get Mary going to the window right now.
Oh, okay.
The window scene that we thought happened earlier actually happens here. Mary then wakes up to a phone ringing, and it's basically an answering machine, and whoever's calling leaves a voicemail, and they say, "Mary, I opened the window, and I won't be coming back." I'm like, okay, I'm not sure.
I thought this was Clark. It's not Clark.
Maybe.
You're right.
It might be Clark.
I thought it was
Yeah.
Clark. But...
Never mind.
So then, yeah, in my mind, I thought, okay, it's Clark. I don't know how
She's
that
gonna go
happened.
check on him.
Yeah, so she drives to the store.
Files
There's
a mail.
Which, before she drives to the store, is this when we see that same async guy watching the TV with his family, or did it happen a little bit?
Yes. I'm pretty sure.
Might happen.
Because he sees the commercial for the pirate, and then he's like,
Because I know it happens before she goes in.
yes, yeah. He like, and he's just like watching, and he sees
He's like making popcorn with his family, and
yeah,
he
and
sits
he's like,
down.
oh no.
He's like, that's the guy I saw.
Yeah. Exact. Yes, that's the exact sequencing. Mary drives to the store. Scientist watching
Yeah.
Clark's commercial. Mary goes into the store. There's like all of the mail that's shoved under the door, so he's been in there for a while.
And it's just open, like,
Yeah.
you know, nobody goes there, so.
She goes in, and I don't know if y'all caught this, but like when she's walking, it's her. So the camera's on her side as she's walking that way, or I guess perpendicular to her. In the back, there's a painting, and it's the mural from the room from the very beginning. That painting that's on the wall.
Oh, like the beach painting?
beach painting.
Yeah.
Yeah. She goes downstairs because she sees the lights flickering. She sees the Pepe Sylvia map, and she's like, "What the heck?" And then there's like this fly that's buzzing around, and it eventually goes into the portal, and she's like, "What the fuck?" And then she goes into the portal, the back room.
Yeah. Because she really, like, focuses in on it, and then it just, it's gone.
We see that the pile of furniture is gone, and we get her exploring for a little bit. She finds the room where the cardboard cutout was, so when Clark had first gone in, and the camera that's all destroyed. She hears noises, and she eventually keeps exploring. She rounds a corner where she finds a mural. The mural. We'll put a. You said there's screenshots already?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll put a picture of what it is
Here. It
here.
has, like, a whole saying. And
Yeah, it has a
Yeah,
whole
it's
thing.
basically like setting up like what we assume is like what Clark has found, and so
Because also, like, it has, like, yeah, like, we'll put a picture, but it has, like, the mural of, like, the entity. Is it eating
it's like
somebody?
it looks like
Eating
it's like picking somebody
yeah.
up in a yellow suit, which
Yeah.
we assume is an async worker.
Mhm.
Did it say the window is a lie or the window is? I remember something or
I
like
didn't catch what
like
the
basically
writing
idea
said.
like going up, like there's an idea of going up is a lie or like
Yeah.
that, I don't know, something like that, something along those lines, because we're gonna find that here in the finale of the third act, because that is
Yeah.
a big portion of it.
So Clark is hiding behind like a hallway, right? And she like sees a quick glimpse of him, and she says Clark. And when you see him go behind, you really only see his fingers, right? And immediately I was like, that's not fucking Clark.
I either thought it was gonna be Clark or he was gonna, like, because we never saw what happened to him from
Yeah.
earlier. I thought he was gonna be like missing limbs or something. Which the way this is set up, it's like basically a room that becomes like a very slim hallway. Like there's really only one tiny ass way in and out.
Yeah.
Like she's basically cornered. She's trapped.
Yeah, I was disappointed to find out that it actually is Clark. I wanted to be
I know.
monster.
He turned down the corner and it's just Clark, bro. In his regular ass clothes.
And he says, "You found it," and she says, "Why are you hiding?" And he says, "Shh, you're being too loud." Where are we? And then it's Clark says, "It's every place that ever was." And then they kind of converse for a little bit, right? About like him being down there, all that kind of stuff. And then they start to hear heavy footsteps. And Clark walks up to Mary, and the footsteps stop. However, the lights that are just beyond the corner start to flicker until it eventually goes out. And then Clark, wow!
Oh, because
So
Clark
true.
tells her like, "Don't freak out. It's just me."
Yeah.
Which like for a second I was like, "Why the fuck would he say that?"
And then he
Like,
chokes her out. Like,
That's really chokes her out, and then I mean we find out more later.
Yeah.
It was just him, in fact.
Uh,
This is when we know he's gone fucking psycho.
So then we get a flashback here, and it's Mary visiting her mom in the mental health institution.
and she has the same kind of glazed look that Clark has.
Yes. And then then she cuts to like being in her house, right? And she's in the living room that has the windows all covered up, and then we basically get the trailer of the movie where the camera is sinking, and then the room basically becomes the back rooms.
Yeah. Is the idea that, and again, this is the theme that they're going to hammer home the rest of this last act, is that it essentially like distorts it every time it goes down a level. Like it starts out with a full room, and then like it takes away things.
Like every time it's remembered.
And then it's like slowly like parts
something
are missing.
changes.
Yeah. And so it's like nothing. It's like not even close to what it was.
Yeah. So then Mary wakes up to dinner, which is very reminiscent of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original one.
Mm-hmm.
The dinner scene from that, where basically Clark is there. I called them zombie people because I didn't know what else to fucking call them, but it's the person in the wheelchair.
I call them clones. I don't know.
Yeah, clones is probably a better word for it. It's the person in the wheelchair that we saw from earlier. They have a lamp and they look incorrect, as in they have they have 3 legs. There's a dude that's also sitting at the table. He has 3 sets of eyes and then 2 or 3 noses, and then there's another woman who looks as if you got a mirror and you were looking at if you put the mirror what is this, perpendicular to your face, and then looked at your reflection, and it looks
Which is she supposed to be somebody? Is this supposed to be like his wife, or
no? I think
it's just a random. I think all 3 of these people are just randos.
Yeah, I have not. I don't want to call it theory, but like my interpretation of it, because I think theories are dumb, especially with these types of movies. But my interpretation, which we'll find as he goes through his monologue dialogue thing, is that I think each of these is a representation of some type of like potential flaw within something, because I think that was something that most people that I've seen have been taking away after this monologue, that like, well, actually, I'll wait till after the monologue, because I think that's pretty much hits home the theme.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Clark continues on with dinner, right, where he basically there's 3 people sitting at the table. So Clark is on one end, Mary's on the other, and then the third seat is occupied by the person who has 3 sets of eyes, 2 and 3 noses. Clark stabs him in the neck, and he's like, no, it's okay, they don't feel anything. He then reaches into his stomach and starts eating the man, and it looks almost like stuffing that he's pulling off.
Mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
It's like marshmallow mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has like a marshmallow, but then it has like almost like a sticky quality.
It has like some goop.
Non-appetizing, let me tell you.
He then goes to the fridge to get a drink, but inside of the fridge is Cat's head.
Yeah, she sees Cat's head.
Which we never get the explanation behind. But again, like the more this continues, the more that I think Mary's realizing, like, oh yeah, I'm screwed here. Like, this guy is off the rails.
Yeah, she even says that she just wants to go home. And then Clark is like, no, how about instead we roleplay the night that I got kicked out?
Which I thought was ironic and funny, because he was anti doing it in the real setting, and then in this setting he wants to do it and she doesn't want to do it. He's like, oh no, I think that'd be great, like in the first scene, and then the scene she's like, no.
And then he says, wait just a minute, you're missing something.
Yeah, he like scalps the redheaded lady and like puts the wig on, because it was very defined that his wife was a redhead.
And he puts it on Mary, and then they start role playing here, right? Where
he even says, "Wait, hold on, can you hit the lights?" And she doesn't hit the lights. He's like, "Oh yeah, I've been trying that, testing that. It doesn't work." So the role play basically is the exact same setup as the original scene, where basically he goes through them coming home. He drops something, and the wife comes down, and basically they have the same conversation of like him being frustrated and his explaining his frustrations to his wife. And I mean, he says the same exact things that he does, like, you don't get off your butt, you don't do anything, I'm the one that's working all hard, and this is, whatever. And then I think it culminates basically back into like her basically breaking and like, well, what do you want from me? And he's just like, I forget what he says, like, so what, like, what can I do? Like, how do you fix whatever? How do you fix me? Yeah. And she's like, I don't know. Like, she's like, there's no answer. She's like, if you want the honest truth, like, she's like, basically, like, I think you're like screwed. Like, you like, there's no fixing you. Like, I can't fix you. I don't know how to fix you. I don't think there is fixing you.
This is like her first time breaking also.
Yeah, like basically, well, it's her basically telling him that he's like he is like she tells him off like you have been blaming everybody but yourself, and you're like basically self-destructive. Like you're going down a self-destructive path, and until you choose to fix yourself, like it won't get better, but you're not going to. Like basically, she basically tells him you're screwed. Like you can't fix that. And so that was the whole like everybody's take. A lot of people's takeaway from YouTube was that they believe that the ideas that Clark has given into that idea, he's accepted the craziness that is the Backrooms and all of that because he can accept all of that being the case because it like his he doesn't have consequences or whatever.
That's
right?
just
like,
how his personality
it's like basically he's feeding into that type of thing of like everything is okay with all of his flaws and all of his bad nature. Like basically he's a bad natured person, and I think that was another thing people took away too of like why they didn't like the movie, because they felt like this is where Clark basically gave away that he's kind of he is a bad person versus being a normal protagonist that does like may have flaws but like eventually like pulls himself up as like no, Clark has chosen that he's a bad person.
He's kind of narcissistic.
Yeah, he's bad. I mean, what goes with obsession, like what I mean, like it's kind of the same thing. So, anyways, but yeah.
So then Clark. So then they stop the role play, just like you're saying, and I think in this part too, Mary realizes that she can't help anybody. Right?
Yeah.
I think she mentions like, I've never saved anybody or something like that.
I definitely can't save him because he's
like she's giving into her own right, and she even tells him like at the very end of it like, but that's just how you're wired, right?
Yeah.
Like kind of going full circle with what we've heard earlier on in the movie.
Yeah. Clark eventually says that he likes it in the back rooms, that he's basically going to stay right there because he feels like where he's supposed to be. But then he starts to and Mary's like, oh, well then I'm going to fucking dip. Because she's tied to a chair. So he's like, you know what? Fuck it. I'll let you go. So then he goes... he goes over and he cuts one of the arm restraints, and then the fucking monster lady freaks out and then runs into the corner of the room. She's like clawing at the walls trying to get away, and you hear the heavy footsteps.
I'm pretty sure the guy's clicking the light.
Clicking the light.
Yeah.
The other one that doesn't move is the guy in the chair. He's just pretty chill.
Who has like shown no reaction to anything.
And then that's when Captain Clark walks through the doorway.
So this is when I knew that TikTok I saw talking about a fucking pirate. I said, bruh. Which. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. At one point, like, is this like all the other like entities down there? Is this just a clone of him, but just because he happened to be a bad person and ended up like this?
So that's where again theory drops, because it's different from what everybody's encountered up to this point. So the idea is that the Backrooms is manifesting off of his like energy and behavior, because it's copying, right? So not only copies the surroundings, but it's also now copying people and human behavior. So that's why, again, we've never seen human copies. We've seen these weird stringy creatures, but this is the first time we've seen people. So because people are deriving that theory, that was where my theory came from. Was like these other people that are trapped there, I think are other people and personality traits that were given to them. Like I feel like that lady may have been in a situation where she was trapped, like she couldn't do anything, so that's why she was very like more keen to maybe trying to flee and doing things, and like very like wouldn't do anything. Maybe the guy was more of a slothy guy, that's why he didn't move, react to anything, was stuck there in that chair. I don't think at any point he moved. I don't know what you would get from the guy with the lamp, but at least with the other two you can maybe derive something for that. That was at least my in like how I would, I guess, take how he kind of set it up. But to answer your question, that was what people were thinking, is Pirate Clark is a manifestation of basically him, and like that's how they as the entity see the room, see him as, because again the commercial, the owning the store, and then he's a distorted version of himself. Like he's not quite, they saw the, because I think there is a pirate figure somewhere in the store.
It's like the logo or something.
Yeah, but then there's also Clark, so they just fuse the two together.
Yeah.
Because again, the Backrooms idea is that it doesn't know what it's copying, so it like is just fusing things together. That's why it's just not right.
Yeah. So then Clark goes up to Captain Clark and is like, "Oh, hey, no, it's all good. She's gonna help us." Or
she said it's okay. We don't have to change.
Yes. It's okay. We don't have to change. And so then Captain Clark picks up regular Clark, and
pretty sure they I feel like they hug or something.
No, he looks like he's gonna hug him, and he
he starts eating him.
R.I.P. Clark. Man.
Yeah, and then Mary basically dips, right? Boom, freaking takes off. She's riding through this neighborhood that looks like super cookie cutter kind of neighborhood,
which is like similar to, I think, the one we were talking about earlier. The house is one where he heard people from the other side of the wall.
So then he's running, and it's the whole thing, or she's running, and then at the end of the street,
isn't he like dragging Clark for a little bit?
She turns around and she sees Captain Clark dragging
because the door's locked.
Yeah, dead body. She goes into a house, and then it's just a whole bunch of her getting away, right? Going into these different backroomized locations.
Which we do see the Crest Tower, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, we see a sign. We see a sign.
Is that not the room they end up in when it's like the big ass?
They might actually.
Once you go to the stairs at the top, I assume that's what it is. Because
there is some later backroom one where they're like in a cityscape, like almost like, and that was something that at least again theorized was that they built those buildings and those office spaces because originally that's what it was going to be, was office spaces, but then it turned into like, why not just live there, because they're you're not having to pay for electricity or anything like that. But I think you're correct. I think it was its interpretation of those buildings, and she eventually gets through a door, and she finds that it's like the building, but like the entire inside of the building, like basically 98% of the center mass of the building is just gone, and you're just getting the edges of the walls of the outside or the inside of the building.
And she even like drops something, right? That we just
never
hear the bottom or hear it hit.
Because there's like the stairs that go up to the ceiling, and she drops the door off.
And it like falls, and then she like stays there for the longest time. I get it. She has she's in a no-win situation here because there's nowhere for her to go. It's like very thin, like ledge space basically, and she's at like the top of this ledge space. Like, she could maybe like hang down and try to drop to another floor, but I don't think any of those floors are better, and I don't think you physically could do that without potentially falling over. So she's just fighting her inner thought of like, what do I do?
Yeah.
And stands there, and then basically Pirate Clark is just breaking down the door and like going, and then I think this is where it comes in. The ceiling is a liar, the windows, like basically like because that thing's lifting it up, and there's something at the top in that mural. So that staircase, I think, is essentially that, because she goes up that staircase. It's like basically a hole in the ground. She goes up, and lo and behold, it's like the bottom basement of the store or what she believes to be the store, because it looks pretty similar to the store. And then she runs up.
I feel like in her mind, like,
she escaped.
In her mind, she made it out.
Yeah, and then she goes up the stairs, and she sees the door, and she tries to go out the door, and then notices that there's a giant cement wall, that's like maybe like 6 inches from the door, so she can't even fully open the door, but you can kind of see like maybe if you got through the door there might be a little crevice to get through, but she even did to get into the store too, right? It's like a tiny narrow hallway she has to like squeeze through. But she also does notice I noticed there was those canisters, like it looked like helium canisters, which I was like, oh, those look interesting.
There's also like slight. Oh, sorry, you can go.
Yeah, there's like multiple like of those things, and then when the entity comes, Pirate Clark, I think he like triggers one of them, right? Like
so there's the caveman cardboard cutout.
Cardboard cutout.
Yeah. And they basically destroy that, and then that's when.
Yeah, the alarms go off.
Alarms go off. The gas comes out of the canisters, and then they basically both get knocked unconscious, right?
Well, she's getting chased by it. She's getting chased by it.
You're right.
And she's like ducking and dodging it because it's like not really running, and he has a peg leg too. I think that we're out there. She ends up like getting, I think, it's a coat rack, right? And she like swings at his leg and breaks his leg, and he's like, no, and then it like crawls after her, gets up and chases her again, and then she like falls over, right? Because she breaks her ankle at one point, of course.
And like in one of when the Captain Clark, I think, gets on top of her, and she smashes him with the rock, with the handprint rock,
which was another whatchamacallit, that's one of those thematic things, is that letting the past go, and because Clark couldn't let it go. He wanted to live how he wanted to live, but she didn't let her trauma define her.
Yeah. So then she ends up running in this super narrow hallway. She makes it out to the other side.
See all the hazmat people.
She runs into the Among Us people.
But she passes out though, right? Because of the
they
gas.
spray her.
Oh yeah, the gas. The gas in the canisters also kind of take down Clark. Which I will throw out that it was also interesting because somebody brought it up too, that the entity bled, but the creatures did not. Which was interesting.
I didn't even catch that.
Yeah, because when she hit it with the rock, it was bleeding from its ear.
It was, and the other ones didn't do that.
Yeah.
At least from what we've seen.
From what we saw, yeah.
It was eating the man.
Yeah.
Just fucking foam. And when he cut the girl's scalp off, I don't think anything happened.
You could see the like what they thought was brain, but it was smooth brain. It was like smooth. Yeah.
Like cutting off a doll.
So then eventually we get cuts of like X-rays and brain scans. What I think are Mary's, just to make sure that she's okay, right? That kind of stuff.
I thought they were just making sure she's a human, but
Which
we see it is. Do we see Clark in the room? Is that what?
That's where we're going toward right now.
What was he? Pirate Clark.
We see Captain Clark.
Right. Entity Clark.
Yeah, where they're leading Mary through the doorways and all these different hallways, and we see Captain Clark on like this examination table, and it's a quick like 2-second max clip, and Mary wants to turn back, but they force her to keep walking. Till eventually they lead her into this room where the creep scientist comes up, and they basically, and his name is Phil.
I've been watching you. Which, real quick, because you're watching the YouTube, is this? I'm assuming this is like outside of their portal to the Backrooms, correct?
Yeah.
This isn't set up in the Backrooms.
They have a portal to the Backrooms.
That's what they exit. What she exits out of.
Because
they exit out of is the port. Because they're in like that big old room that has the fucking giant ass metal.
Because I was assuming like earlier on in the movie when we see him watching, you know how the cords are coming from behind that like wall that you can't get to. I don't know why I thought the scientist guy was in the back rooms, like monitoring the camera.
No.
So they stay out of the back rooms unless they're in the like if they're in there, they're in the hazmat suits.
For the most part, yes.
Okay,
for the most part. So then he starts asking questions like, "How did you get there? Were you looking for this man?" Pulls out a picture of Clark.
All the picture of the location. Like, was it in this location?
Until eventually, like he
even asked too, like, "Do you know of any other potential places?" And she's like, "What? Like, what are you talking about?"
Yeah, and he drops that. What's it called? That this is going. That they're having more doorways open all over the place, and they don't know why.
He gives the async lore of we started off as this company,
an MRI company.
Yeah, and they got that sweet government money.
So eventually, she drops the question of what's going to happen to me, Phil, and he says the decision isn't up to me. And as Phil is trying to convince her to continue to talk, his voice fades out.
He gives the like, "Yeah, you're screwed." Like, "Oh, that's not up to me." But let's just enjoy the moment we have now. Like, let's just talk, until
eventually, we basically get more shots of the back room.
Or does the drop layer, where it's basically her in the chair, and eventually we see it get turned into a chair with her by herself in a dark, like, distorted room, and it's her distorted, like one of the creatures at the end.
So do you think they killed her is the question?
Okay, this is where I dislike.
Oh, and the movie ends.
Yes. Okay, this is where I dislike some of the community and like where the hype is, because the theories. It's all about the theories. There are people that literally are like, I really believe that's the real version of her down there. The one that's up there is not real. I'm like, we literally just watched her go through all of that. What do you mean that's not her? Like, as if like him choking her out and then where we respond back is not her. I'm like, you really think that was going to be the case? There's people that believe that. There's a small handful of people that are like, no, it's not. That can't be her. And they, maybe you can make a case for Clark being a clone. Like, maybe, because we don't know what happens to him. But, like, you obviously see that these two or whatever, but like that's a theory. There's another theory. What was the other one? That she actually wasn't saved by async, and that's another that's a Backrooms view of async or whatever. Which I'm like, no, like it's obviously async. I'm like, so yeah, some of the weird theories. That
Do you think we'll ever find out what happens to her, or they leave this part of the story off?
They might not. I think they usually don't. The only reoccurring person I think in the entire one is the async person that escaped, and we don't even know what happened to that
Which
guy.
I personally like endings like this. Like I feel like maybe it's better off. I think we can all assume that she didn't get out. Whatever they did with her is what they did with her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I think the idea behind the one that escaped is that he was lost for like a long time. Then he magically shows up. They do the same thing. They check on him, interview him or whatever, and they basically tell him like he's not going to leave. They basically hold him captive because they know, because they had already covered him up his disappearance as a death.
Yes.
So if they let him go, then it's like they told his family, they did a whole thing. So like we can't do that now. So they don't let him go. But then like the last thing you see of that guy is like the ground footage of like a street camera and what we perceive as him like running away.
Yeah.
So we don't know what happened to that guy.
Yeah.
Which at first I was like, is that scientist that guy? Because I couldn't remember his name and Phil sounded familiar, but it wasn't him.
Yeah. Because I'm assuming like it'll become, like I said, the sequels will become an anthology in the sense that like they'll follow different characters, but I'm assuming at the end of however many, like you said, he has a story written. Whether it's 2, 3, 4 movies, like I'm assuming it'll all converge into.
Yeah, I don't know if it will necessarily
like,
converge the stories. It's just more so like, what is the Backrooms?
Right.
Do we ever find the answer? I think the answer of what it truly is, and then what happens with it. You know what I mean?
I better see Captain Clark again, bro.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's the first iteration of like this type of thing. Like I said, the most you've ever gotten is like a few stringy ones and some noises and some things in the shadows, and then a couple people getting like taken out by them, and then the mold monster that's about it, or mold skeleton that they I think do bring back. Like that was one of the things they did bring back.
Because did the Backrooms underlay the whole world or what? Like it's just
No, I don't think so.
It's again, the idea behind this movie is that it's a distorted copy. Again, the dog it's the Backrooms trying to understand our world, and it's slowly absorbing information, but it's not accurate. You know what I mean? And so the idea behind the whole movie is that it's just an ever evolving thing that is slowly taking things that they perceive from the world, but it does feed off of the negative things pretty well. Like I think that seems to be the catalyst, right? There's no good things in the back room, other than like space.
Yeah.
And free electricity.
Yeah. So that was the Backrooms. The next movie we're going to go ahead and cover is going to be Obsession. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, do all the algorithm stuff. We would really appreciate it. And until then, y'all have a good day.